Hi, good afternoon. So today we are going to basically understand how do we install Java 1.8 on Windows operating system, right? So I'll go through step by step and I'm going to tell you um, how to install Java, right? So before we start this recording, I want to explain how do we verify whether Java is installed properly on my laptop or not. First of all, how do we verify whether Java is installed or not? So the way we do is like this. I hope you all can see my screen. I'm assuming that you're having Windows laptop and it is Windows 8 or above. So there is a start button at the bottom on the extreme left. You have to click on the start button and then you have to type here CMD. When you type CMD, you can see here there is something called command prompt. Let me just highlight it using my pen. It looks something like this. Let me just highlight this command prompt. How does it look like? Okay, so when I type CMD, as you can see here, this is his command prompt, right? So when I click on this command prompt, it is going to open like this with a black background. And now I'm going to type here the way I verify whether Java is installed here or not. The command here is something like this. I have to type Java. Note it is case sensitive, which means that Java, it all has to be in small letter. Say Java, and you have to give space minus version. This is the command to verify whether Java is installed on your laptop or not. And this is also sometimes asked in the interview, how do you verify which version of Java is installed? I'm going to do the same here. I will type here Java space minus version. And when you type here, you can see here what error do we get. It says that Java is not recognized as an internal or external command, operable program, or a batch file. So if you get this kind of error, this means that Java is not installed on your laptop, right? Now, how do I go and install about it? So I'm going to simply go, I'll tell you the steps one by one. So we'll open basically, maybe I'll open a browser. So let us open a Chrome browser, or maybe Google Chrome if I open it. When you all can open your Chrome browser. Let us say if I open Chrome browser here. It will take a while for the browser to get open. So I'm going to simply type here download JDK 8, or maybe you can type here JDK 1.8. It means the same. If I type here JDK 1.8, and then if I simply click here, so you're going to see this, the first link is comes to Java SE8 archive downloads. Right. So now you will be asking me, Kundan, why are you asking me to install Java 1.8 when the latest version of Java is, let's verify what is the latest version of Java. If I say latest JDK version, when I click here, so you see latest version, it says as of now, at the point of recording, it says Java 22, Java 21. So Java 22 is the latest version. Then why are we downloading Java 1.8? So the answer to that is basically Java 1.8 has essentially all the major changes that came in Java 1.8. So before Java 1.7, there was no major update. After that, there were so many I would say, major updates that came as a part of Java 1.8. So as a part of my training, I encourage all my students to start with Java 1.8. And then what all new features have come in latest version of Java that can be picked up very easily at a later stage of the training. So to begin with, we will be downloading Java 1.8. As you can see here, download JDK 1.8. So when I click here, you can see the first link it comes here is Java SE8 archive downloads. When I click on this link, you can see that it gives me so many options here. Let me scroll down a bit. So as you can see here at the time of recording, you can see on my screen, it says Linux, right? As you can see here, let me just highlight it. Linux operating system. Now you'll be asking me which one do I download it? So the answer is because you are using Windows laptop. So we have different types of operating system. Now we have a Linux operating system, we have Mac operating system, we have Windows operating system, we have various examples of operating system. Now you'll be asking me what exactly is operating system. I will say let's not go into those details. I'll just give you a simple example so that you can understand it. If we have an iPhone mobile phone, so iPhone uses a particular operating system. It has a particular software installed on it. Its behavior is completely different from an Android operating system. So Android is also another example of operating system. So you would have seen that there are some Windows mobile as well. So it has a Windows operating system. So similarly, for Java also, we can download Java for different operating systems. As you can see here at the, if I keep scrolling, right? So these are examples of different, Linux is an example of operating system. You can see Mac is another example of operating system. Solaris is another example of operating system. So you have to keep scrolling down, right? And you can see here Windows 86 and Windows 64. Then you will ask, Kundan, I can see my operating system is Windows, but which one do I download, whether it is Windows 86 or Windows 64? So just to give you a very, very high level overview, if you are using Windows 10 or a higher operating system, it is almost 100% that you will be using 64-bit operating system. Now you don't have to understand what exactly it means by 64-bit operating system. It's something like maybe this is a 64-bit operating system and this is 32-bit operating system. When I say operating system means the amount of data that can flow across the wire. If it is a 32-bit operating system, so obviously you can see the amount of data that can flow is, I would say, smaller as compared to a 64-bit operating system, which means that assume that you have a wire which is wider, so 64 bits of data can flow simultaneously. So 64-bit operating system is a faster operating system. So I assume that you have maybe Windows 8 and above, they use their 64-bit operating system. If you have Windows 7 or something lower, then it is uses a Windows 32-bit operating system. So I assume that you are having Windows 10 or Windows 8 or something higher than that. You have to choose this operating system, which is 64-bit operating system. So you have to click on this hyperlink. And just one more thing I want to highlight. At the time of recording, you can see here that it is showing 202 version. And let us say when you are trying to download it, it will show that JDK 8U, assume that it shows 196 or maybe 207, something like this. Then you will say, Kundan, which version should I download? The video that your video shows, it is 2022 version, whereas now I'm saying it is 207. So at the point of recording this video, the JDK version which I see here is JDK 8 is 202. Whenever there is an update, this version might be incremented. So the part that is going to change is the later part. This 202 might become, let us say, 207. But the base version is JDK 8, which means that this is still Java 1.8, but it has some enhancements have come. So it is a later version. So if it is 207, 208, 209, whatever it is, you can download it safely, assuming that the major version is JDK 8U. It might happen that maybe you might say 201 or 296. As long as the first part is a JDK 8U, it means it is Java 1.8. So I'm going to click on this version and I'm going to download this. So if I click on this version, it'll straight away take me, it'll show me the screen. It says that, again, let me just highlight it. It says you must accept the Oracle license agreement in order to download the software. So it is not going to cost you anything. So don't worry that it is going to cost you. You have to click on this. You have to agree to this license agreement and then click on this download JDK 8U202. Again, I'm highlighting it. At the time of recording, the version is JDK 8U202. So this 202 might be 204, 296, depending or at the point of time when you're watching this video, right? It is not necessary that it will be 202 only. So if it is something different, you can still download it as long as the first bit is JDK-8U. It means that it is a Java 1.8 downloadable. When I click on this, let us see what happens. Now it says it gives me a bad request. Now you'll say, Kundan, what do I do? It is giving me a bad request. I don't know what should I do. So then it can happen, right? So I was initially trying to download this software before this recording, and you can get this error. So one way is that maybe you try to press this window, which is called Control Shift N. This window. This means that it is basically we call this basically incognito mode. That means I'm trying to open the browser, ignoring, I would say, past all the history. So if you see here, if I say Control Shift N, If I press like this, it is going to open a new browser. Let me just open like this, Control Shift and N. Now you can see it says you have gone incognito. That means it is going to ignore the past history. I mean, if you don't understand what is incognito, you don't have to break your head. All I'm trying to say here is you have to open this, press Control Shift N, and it is going to open like this. You have gone incognito. Let me just pull out my this. You have gone incognito means you're trying to open the browser, ignoring all the past history. And again, I'm going to download here. I'm going to click here as a download JDK 8. And when I click here, I mean, you have to, maybe you can click on accept all. And again, I click on the first link, 1.8. And now, again, if I scroll down a bit, and again, if you're using MacBook, it says you have to accept cookies. So it's better to accept cookies. And if you're using Windows operating system, then you have to choose basically the JDK version corresponding to Windows. If you're using Mac operating system, then you have to use Mac OS-64, right? So again, this video is mainly for Windows operating system because Windows is a cheaper laptop. Mac is, I would say, pretty expensive. So for Mac, if you're using Mac, then you have to use this download, right? And I'm not recording this for Mac, so we'll go and click on this Windows operating system. So again, Windows x64, I'm going to click on this. And again, I have to click on this. I have click on accept and click on download JDK. When I click on this, and now you can see that it has taken me to a new page where it is asking me to sign into Oracle. The next time the students ask that, Kundan, I don't know about how do I create an account. So I already have an account on Oracle. I'm going to use that account. And if you don't know how to create account, I'll quickly show you. I'll show you how does it look like, right? If you don't have an account, you have to click on this create account. So if I click on create account, it'll open this new page. And it is going to ask me email address. So email address has to be correct, right? So for example, if I click here, email to jitech@gmail.com, and then you have to type the password. So maybe, I mean, whatever email password you're choosing, you have to be make sure that your username and password is correct because you have to use this username and password to log into Oracle account at a later stage. And then depending on the country that you have, you can, for example, I'm based in London, so I'm going to choose United Kingdom. And my first name is Kundan, and then this name is Sharma. So, I mean, you can choose any email address. I would say it need not be, I think preferably I'll say that use a Gmail address. So type your Gmail address and then job title. Now you will say, I'm not working, I'm a student. So what job title I could put? So let's say if you're a student, you can put anything. This is not validated. Or maybe if you're a housewife, you can write here housewife. So let's say I have typed here as a student. So this data is, and let's say I don't have a phone number. So I can type here anything 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever I want to type, I can type it. Company name. I'm not working. So how do I know my company now? I can put, let's say anything, whatever I want. I can say type BPC. I can say my own company. I can type anything because this information is not validated. So what is validated is your email address, basically an address code. Let us say if I'm staying in London, I can type here as London. You can type anything, whatever you want. You can type here city as maybe, let's say, Sutton, and then zip code, I don't know. Maybe you can type here anything. If you are based in India or any other country, you can type any information as long as you can see here. You have to provide all the mandatory information. So whatever you see as a star, that means this information is mandatory. You have to provide this, right? And you can see the moment I enter these values, it shows me the green arrow, which means that whatever information I have provided is a valid, acceptable information. And then after that, you have to click on this. If you want to click on marketing communication, you can choose this, and then you can click on create account, right? So because I already created an account with this email address, so I'm not going to create this account one more time. But when you click on this create account, you're going to receive an email address, an email from Oracle at your Gmail. I'm going to quickly open my Gmail account and show you how does it look like, right? So let me just share my screen. Yep. So I'm going to share my screen and show you how does it look like, the email address. Okay, so as you can see here, my inbox is open, right? I'm going to share just a highlight. you're going to receive an email address like this. Your Oracle account, verify your email address, right? Right, not this one. Let me go back and on this. You can see here your Oracle account, verify your email address. So you're going to receive an email address like this. And what you are supposed to do, you have to basically click on this verify email address. Or maybe you can click on, you can copy this link and paste it into the browser. You can do either of these things. So after clicking this, it is going to basically take you to the Oracle account. It comes here and it loads your, it says success, your account is ready to use, continue. So you have to click on continue, and it is going to take you to the Oracle account. And now you will say, Kundan, what do I do? I'm completely lost here, right? So all you have to do here is, again, maybe you can type here download JDK, and basically it is going to now it has created your account and you need to download basically your Java JDK 1.8. So now because you have account is created, if I click on view accounts, it gives me option sign into cloud or sign in for free. So I'll click on this. You can see Oracle account Kundan Chama is already created, right? Now if I click on this download JDK, if I again click on this download JDK, let us see what happens, what it clicks here. When I click on this, it brings me to this page, and because my account is already created, and now if I click on this, it'll ask me to sign into Oracle, and because I have already created my account, again it comes here as a bad request. Again, I'm going to say Control Shift N in the incognito mode and download JDK 8. Sometimes it does not work, therefore we have to use incognito mode. And again, if I'm going to click here, I'm going to choose Windows 64. And whenever you get a bad request, you have to press on incognito mode, right? So now it is saying that you have to sign in the Oracle. Now I already created my account, so I'm going to choose here email to gigtech@gmail.com. This is the email that I used to create my account. And I'm going to click on next. And then I'll paste my password here. And now it is going to basically log into Oracle, and it'll let me download the browser. And you can see here straight away, it opened this window, downloads window. And as you can notice here, let me just show you here. It straight away, it has taken me JDK 8U202. It says now you can download. It has opened this downloads folder. And when you click on this save, then it will start downloading this file here. So essentially from the Oracle file, we were attempting to download this exe file. Before downloading, it came with a prompt. It says that you have to sign in on Oracle. And when we logged into Oracle's site, it straight away came with this option. And because I have already downloaded this, I'm going to cancel it. I just wanted to show you the procedure. You can see here, I have already downloaded this JDK 8U on my downloads folder. So this is how you have to click on save. And when you click on save, it starts downloading, right? Maybe just for the sake of completeness, I'm going to click on this save, and I'll show you. It starts downloading. And as you can see here, this arrow this means that it has started downloading this. I'll go to my click here. I'll click on this folder, and you can see here when I click on this folder, it shows that it has downloaded this JDK 1.8. So now it is. You can see here, the time is now 3:16 p.m. So 3:16 is the time. It has downloaded this folder now. And as you can see here, there is also one more version available here, JDK 8U201. I already told you whenever you go to download, so JDK, the version will look something like this. Let me just type it again. JDK, sorry, it is JDK 8U202 blah blah something. This is called minor version. This is called major version. So whenever there is a new enhancement comes in JDK 8, it might say JDK 8U maybe 207. So this number does not matter. You have to download the major version. So you have to click on this, and then now this exe is downloaded. So does it mean that downloading this exe means Java is installed on our laptop? The answer is no. We have just downloaded the exe. How do I know that Java is not installed? I'm going to click on start button and click on CMD, and it's going to open the command prompt for me. Let me just do it one more time. I'll type here CMD command prompt, And when I click on command prompt, again, it is going to open the command prompt where I can type here Java. I told you earlier also the command is Java minus version, right? So Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. So that means Java is still not installed. We have just downloaded the installer, right? So sometimes some student write like this Java minus version. This is not correct. So you have sometimes some student will say Java minus version. This is also not correct. So Java is a case sensitive programming language. You type Java space minus version. The correct command you have to remember, and it is asked also in the interview, how do we verify which version of Java is installed? So as of now, you can see here, it says Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. So now we have downloaded the installer and we are going to install the Java on our laptop. So let us quickly do this. I'm going to click on this, let us say the first one, the one that I download right now. I'm going to click on this. So now when I click on this, it starts executing, it starts installing basically Java. And you're going to get this kind of error message. I mean, the pop-up, it says, do you want to allow this app to make changes to your device? So you have to click on yes. So when you click on yes, then it starts downloading. Sorry, it starts installing Java, not downloading. We have already downloaded the Java, but we haven't installed it. So we have to wait for the installation to begin, right? I'm quickly going to show you how does it look like. As you can see here, it'll start showing me that Java is getting installed like this. So you'll see that as you can see here, let me just show you this screen one more time. There are multiple tabs open. Okay, so as you can see here, it says that you'll get this kind of message. At the top, you can see Java SE Development Kit 8 update 64-bit setup. I told you at the beginning itself, it's a 64-bit we are going to install. So let us click on this next button. You don't have to do anything fancy. Just keep clicking on next. When I click on next, you can see here where exactly it is installing, where it is going to install Java. Let us pay close attention to the location. So there is a folder which is already in your laptop, which is called C program files. So by default, whenever you install any software in your laptop, it always goes into this folder C program files. You don't have to create any folder. So it is going to create a folder structure like this, C program files. It is going to create a folder called Java JDK and then JDK 202. This is the complete structure it is going to create. So your Java will be installed at this location. C program files. Now, if you want to change the installation of Java, you can, I mean, the location where Java is installed, you can definitely change it. So you can click here on change, and then you can choose any other location wherever you want to. Maybe if you want to create as a D Java, you can choose whatever location. If you want to install Java and click D drive, you can click D drive. But let us go with the default location. I'm going to click this cancel, and we'll go with the default location. So whatever is the default location, let us go back and try to download there itself. As you can see here now, our JDK is getting installed at C Java program file Java JDK. Again, I'm talking JDK. We have already understood the difference between JDK and JRE. So JDK is a set of library which is used by developers to write the Java program. Just an analogy, let us say if you are an English author, right? So you would be writing some English story. So for that, you will be needing some English alphabets. So English alphabets, you can consider those English alphabets as a set of library or as a set of collection of words which is used by the English author to write some story in English, right? So similarly, JDK is a set of library which is used by developers to write their own program. So now we are going to install JDK in the folder C program files Java JDK 1.8. I'm going to click on this OK. And now you can see here, it shows me that install JDK to this location. If you want to change the location, you can click on the change button and then change the location. But the default location, whenever you try to install Java, it will always be installed at this location. Again, it is assumed that it is a Windows operating system. I'm going to click on this next. And now it will say, you can see that it is, it will take some time and it will show the progress bar. So we are going to wait till this time. I'm going to pause the recording and it is going to install JDK 1.8. As you can see here, it is showing basically it is installing the JDK 1.8. It is going to take some time. So let us wait for the time being till it gets installed. And once it is, first it is going to install JDK and then it is going to install JRE. So who uses JDK? The answer is developers uses JDK. Who uses JRE? So JRE is used by testers to run the application, right? So do developers use JRE? The answer is yes, because developers use JDK to write the Java program. But then they also would like to verify whether whatever programs they have written, does it work fine or not? So for that, they also have to have JRE. So they are going to use JRE to run the program and verify whether their program, whatever they wrote, is it working fine or not. Now, once it is done, you'll get this kind of notification. You have to click on OK. And now you can see here, what does it say? The next is, it says install JRE. I would like to draw your attention here. Our JDK installation is done. And now if you can see here, it says install. Now the folder structure is C program files Java JRE, right? So earlier it was C program files Java JDK. So inside the same folder where JDK was installed, now it is installing JRE. And again, for JRE is also 1.8. So as a tester, do you need JDK? The answer is no, you don't need JDK. If you are a tester, then you would just like to run the Java application. So you can explicitly install JRE 1.8 as well. And as always, you can see here, if you want to install JRE at a different location, you can click on change and change the location. But we'll go with the default location, C program files Java JRE 1.8. I'm going to click on next here. And now it says that 3 billion devices run Java, which gives you a clear-cut indication how popular Java programming language is. So we have to give it some time. So again, the process that I said is we are installing JDK 1.8. So it has two parts: JDK 1. JDK 8.0 EU and then 2.0.2. So first was major version, then minor version. We have to ignore the minor version as long as we figured out that which is JDK 1.8. We clicked on download, and the first step was the registration. You have to create an account on Oracle. The information that you put there, it is not validated. You can put whatever information you want, your email address and password. It has to be correct. And then you receive an email address. You have to click on verify link, and then straight away it will navigate you to the downloads folder, and it will start downloading the JDK 1.8 executable file. And then you have to click on installing. First, you'll install JDK, followed by JRE, right? So right now we have done the JDK installation. Now we are installing JRE. So we have to give it some time and then wait till this installation is done. It's almost done, so we have to wait for some more time. And again, as I said, the installation process is different for different operating system. And because Windows is most popular operating system, so I'm recording this video only for Windows. If you are using a MacBook, then you might have to find out some videos on YouTube. There are various, I would say, tutorials available on YouTube where you can basically find the videos to install Java 1.8 on MacBook. Right? Let us give it some time. Now you can see here, what does it say? It says that Java, okay. So the next step, basically it is everything is installed. Let us read the message here. It says Java SE development kit is successfully installed. Click on next steps to access tutorials, API documentations, developer guides, release notes, and more. So essentially, you have installed Java, you have installed JDK, you have installed JRE. If at all you want to see the Java documentation, or there are some documentation related to Java, then you can click on next steps. So we are not interested in reading the documentation at this point of time, so I'm going to click on close button right now. That means my objective was to show you how to install JDK, how to install JRE. So that part has been done. Now, when I click on close, and now you can see here, the next step is we have to verify whether Java is installed properly or not. So what is the command for that? I've already explained many times. It is Java space minus version. So again, if you already have the command prompt open, you have to remember one thing. Do not use the same command prompt, right? If the command prompt is already open, you have to open a new command prompt. So when I click on say new CMD, you have to type here. Again, I repeat, it is very, very important. Before starting this installation, we typed Java space minus version and we got the message that Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. So if you have that command prompt open, then you have installed Java, make sure that you close that command prompt and open a new command prompt. So I'm now going to open a new command prompt. And let us see what it shows. Now, if I type here, the command is Java space minus version. Now, what do you see here? It says that now Java is installed here. So the command here is, it says 1.8.0. This is the major version and 202 is the minor version. So this minor version could be different. As I said, it could be 212, 2236, whatever it is. You don't have to worry. As long as the major version is Java 1.8, that means Java is installed properly on your laptop. You have to understand this part. Sometimes I also want to show you how basically it actually, when we install Java 1.8, then it also makes some entry into the your software registry. In the laptop registry, it changes some environment variables. I want to highlight that part as well. So what does it mean when we say how does it figure out that when I'm saying Java minus version, how does it figure out? I want to show you that. So the next thing is you have to click on this Windows and type here env. When we click on env, you get an option edit by system or environment variables. So whenever you install any software on your laptop, basically this window will open and you have to click on this variables. I'm just going to click on this environment variables. Yeah, just give me a minute. I'm going to click on this. Yeah, just hold on. Okay, so now we are going to see how when we install Java, basically what happens internally to the system. And again, if you don't understand this part, you don't have to break your head. But just for giving some extra clarity, I'm just showing you. So you have to click on Start button and then click on this env. And when you click on Edit the System Variables, uh, you're going to see this environment variable. You click on this environment variables, and when you install any software, essentially what happens, as a part of installation of software, it creates some variables, something like maybe these are system variables and these are user variables. So my laptop has a user called Meru1. So it says user variables for Meru1, and system variables is something like which is this laptop can have more than one user. So this is at the system level. If you don't understand this, again, I'm saying you do not have to break your head. So when we install Java, when we type on the command prompt, when we say Java minus version, right? So from where it picks up this command Java minus version. So that's what I'm trying to explain it to you, right? So I'll quickly show you here. So there are so many variables. If I scroll down, so there is a variable called path, right? So I'm saying variable, I'm using the word variable. Assume that it's something like whenever some software installation happens, whenever you install any software, so by default, some entry, some modification happens into your system because you have added some new software. So how does laptop will know that what all softwares are installed on my hard disk? So it makes an entry here. So there is a variable called path. So this where this is the key and this is basically the value. Again, I'm saying key value means assume that key value is something like, let us say this is the name and value is Kundan. And maybe this is gender and value is male. And country is, let us say, UK. So these are the key, these are the values. So whenever we install any software, so by default, as a part of installation, it creates some key value. So here we have a variable called path, and this is the value. So I'll quickly show you here what happens when I click, you have to click on this, it is highlighted now path, and when you click on edit, so it is going to show you here that it is going to, this value is basically responsible from where it actually picks up the Java environment variable. When we say Java minus version, it picks up this value. So I just want to highlight here that when I click on, when I try to make any modification in this entry, and if I click on, let us say, if I say makes here modification, let's say if I say here path 1, so I have made the modification into the system entry, and instead of Java path, I made it as a Java path 1. And when I click on OK, and then when I click on OK, and again click on OK here, and now if I type here CMD here, when I click here CMD, then see what happens here. So again, just to reiterate, I mentioned that when we install any software, so automatically it basically the laptop gets modified and an entry is made into the computer registry. So it is going to modify the value of this path variable. When I click on this path variable, I'll quickly show you here. So you click on path. So this entry is made in the system, and by default the entry is, it looks something like the C program files, 86 common files, Oracle, Java path. What I did was I simply went and modified this value of from Java path. I added 1 here, so I made it Java path 1. So when I made Java path 1, then what does it mean? This means that um, if at all my computer has to know where my Java is installed, so it is going to read this basically this value of this variable, and from this variable it is come to know that where exactly my Java is installed. So if I make modification in this path, that means I'm modifying the address where Java is installed. If I make any modification, then my computer will not be able to find out where my Java is installed. Which means that when I type and try to find out which version of Java is installed, if I say Java space minus version, that is going to say that sorry, you don't have Java installed on your laptop. It's something like I gave you an address, my address on a piece of paper, right? And if I say I stay in, let us say, house number 29, blah, 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 in Sutton. And if someone says, okay, Kundan Sharma stays at house number 29, Sutton. If I modify this 29 to 30, and then if you try to find out where Kundan Sharma is staying, so if you go and find out, okay, where Kundan Sharma is staying, does he stay at house number 30, Sutton? The answer is no, because somebody modified the address of Kundan Sharma on the piece of paper. Similarly, what we did was I went and modified this value of this variable path. And when I modified it, I will try to verify, does it show me the version of Java installed or not? So how do I know which version of Java is installed? The command is simple. You have to open the command prompt. I'm going to click on CMD. And then we are going to type here Java space minus version. Now, if I press enter, what do you expect? Should it show me the version of Java installed, or it should say that, sorry, I mean, I don't know, Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. So as I told you earlier, because when we install Java, it makes an entry into the environment variables. It basically keeps the location where Java is installed. And when you modify that address there, then it will not be able to figure out where Java is installed. So as per the expectation, it should say that Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. Let us press enter and see here. And as expected, you can see here, it says that Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. So now how do I fix it? I'll go and again modify the environment variables. I'm going to type here env, and I'm going to click on environment variables. I'll choose the variable path here, and I'm going to click on edit. And again, the first one was the value which was holding the address where Java is installed. I'm going to click on edit. And then in the end, I'm going to remove that one and I have to click on OK, OK, and OK. And now if I type here Java space minus version, what should happen? Should it show me the correct version because I have made the address correct as originally it was? So let us see here what happens. So Java space minus version. Now if I click on this version, it will not show me the correct version of Java. Why? Because the previous version of command, the previous window was already open. If I click on this, basically, if at all I have to I have modified the change in the address, so I have to close this, would say command prompt, open a new command prompt. If I try to type the command on the same open the command prompt, it is going to show me the same error. Let us verify this. And again, as you can see here, it says that Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. Why it is saying so? Because I was trying to verify which version of Java is installed. And earlier it gave me this error that Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. Why it gave me this error? Because I went ahead and modified the path variable, the value which where the system keeps track where Java is installed. I add the value, earlier it was Java path, I added 1 to it. That means I have modified the address. So because of this, I was getting this address. Now what I went and again deleted this one, and now I corrected the path. Now, do you need to know the path? The answer is no. Do you need to add the value of path? The answer is no. You don't have to do that, right? So essentially, when you install Java, automatically it picks up the value. It adds the complete path there itself. Now I'm going to open a new command prompt and show you that after making correction, it is going to work fine. So I'm going to click on this and I'm going to open a new command prompt, CMD. And now this is a new command prompt. If I type here Java space minus version, and now you can see that it shows the Java version command prompt very, very clearly here, right? So essentially, I would like to summarize what we did so far and what is the important bit that you have to remember. So when we install Java, it has two parts, JDK and JRE. So JDK is called Java Development Kit. It is basically a set of libraries, or you can say set of tools, which is used by developer to write the program. What is JRE? JRE is Java Runtime Environment. Again, it is a tool which is used by the testers to run the application. So whenever we install Java, right, so we have to install JDK and we also have to install JRE, right? And when we install JDK, you can install JRE separately, you can install JDK separately, right? I'll quickly show you when we install Java JDK, how does the folder structure looks like. So I'll go here and I'm going to show you the default location. So the default location was where we installed was C colon program files. So I'll say C colon and I'll say program files. So it was program files 86. And let us see here, Java. Okay, it was, I think it was not program files 86, it was program files, if I'm program files. And let us see here. Yes, as you can see, so the path where we installed Java was this one. So C program files and Java. When I click on this Java, let us click on this Java folder. And now you can see here at this location, we have two folders, JDK and JRE, right? Some of you, when you're installing it, it might form a folder like JDK 180, maybe 234, something like this. So again, you have to ignore, this is a minor version. As long as it is JDK 1.8, that means we are talking of JDK 1.8. Now, inside Java folder, we have two folders. Now, let us go and see here what is there inside this JDK folder. When I click on this JDK folder, now you can see here inside JDK folder, we also have a JRE folder. So what does this mean, right? So C program files, Java, JDK. Inside JDK, we have JRE. At the same level, we also have another folder called JRE. So as I mentioned earlier, whenever a developer writes a program, he will need JDK. And developer would also like to run the program and verify whether whatever program he has written, does it work fine or not. So if you are just installing JDK, is it good enough? The answer is yes, because when you install JDK, it also installs JRE explicitly. Within JDK, the JRE folder is created. Now, this when you're installing JDK as a developer, maybe you can say that yes, I want to install only JDK. When you install JDK, automatically it creates a JRE folder. But if you are a tester, can you install only JRE? The answer is yes. Then in that case, you don't need JDK. So when you install Java, it creates two folders. One is JDK, one is JRE, right? So I just showed you that in Java, we have a JDK 1.8 folder. As you can see here, Java JDK 1.8. Inside this, there is a folder called JRE, right? And now you can also see here when I click on this bin folder, right? I'll just quickly show you some of the files here. So inside this bin folder, I'll show you some commands, some files. This is called java.exe, right? And you'll also see that so there is something called, let me just scroll down a bit. Just give me a minute. I want to show you here. Please pay close attention to my screen, what I'm trying to draw here. So as you can see here, when we install Java, the path you can see here that it is C program files, Java, JDK, bin. Inside bin folder, there are two files. One is basically Java C.exe, another is Java.exe. Now, what is Java C? This is actually your compiler, Java compiler. So what does this Java compiler do? I think as I have already explained in my previous videos, compiler is something which converts a high level language into a low level language which a machine can understand. So what is an example of a high level language? The example is the English language is the example of a high level language. So can computer understand English language? The answer is no. Computer understands only the binary language, which is language of zeros and ones, or maybe you can also call it as a byte code. I'm using the word bytecode for the first time. We will be understanding this bytecode in later videos. So what does this Java C does? So Java C is basically the compiler. So how do we basically compile this program? So let us say I have a file called Java C, and let us say some file whose name is employee.java, right? So when I execute this command Java C employee.java, what does it does? Basically, Java C is the compiler. It is going to take this, I would say, file which is written in high level language, something which sounds like English. It is going to convert this program into a low level language, and it is going to create a file with the name employee.class. Now, can you as a human being read the content of this employee.class? The answer is no. Only computer can understand this employee.class. So Java C is the Java compiler. And now how do I execute this program? To execute this program, the command that gets executed is java.exe. So this is the command which actually runs. So how do I run this program? I will say Java followed by the name of the class, and you have to omit this extension. So you have to say Java employee, right? If you execute this command, then essentially whatever program you have written in this employee.java, it is going to get executed. Again, I reiterate, you don't have to break your head understanding each and every detail, but still I'm trying to give you more details to understand the insight, what happens whenever we try to execute the program. So few important points. When we install Java, it creates two folders, JDK and JRE. So in JDK, we have a folder called bin, and inside the bin folder, you can see there are various, I would say, exe files. These are executable files. So the two important ones are, again, I'm going to highlight here, the two important ones are this java.exe and javac.exe, right? So in future videos, we are going to see how do I basically use this command javac.exe to compile a program from a high level language to low level language. And how do I execute the Java program using this Java command, Java followed by. So essentially, you have a file which is written in high level language, and the file will have extension called employee.java. So this is called file extension. If you have a file which opens in Notepad, it will have an extension called .txt. For example, you might be having a file called abc.txt. So we call this txt is a file extension. You might be having some file, let us say JPEG file. So my.jpg. So JPEG is basically this indicates that it's an image file. So .jpg is the extension. So similarly, whenever we write a program in Java, it will have the extension called employee.java. And this employee is just the name of the file. You can keep any name. You can say employee.java, student.java, abc.java, foo.java. I'm just giving you an example. So whenever I say Java C employee.java, what does it mean? It means that, hey compiler, can you please convert this program which is written high level language to a low level language which is called employee.class. So I will show you in my next video that once we have installed Java, right? I would say in subsequent videos, not exactly in the next video. Java C employee.java, and whenever we do it, it compiles it, it creates a file with the same name employee, but the extension will change from .java to .class. Once you have this employee.class file available, you would like to execute this program. So how do you execute that program? So you're going to use Java followed by employee. Now, the next thing is maybe, are we going to write this program and going to use this command Java C and Java every now and then directly in our day-to-day life? The answer is no. We have some ready-made tools available, some editors available, which we are going to use it. So those editors internally use this command basically to compile this .java file to .class file. And those editors, they use internally this Java C and Java command, I would say, very frequently. So we will be seeing what kind of editors do we use. Now you will be asking, Kundan, what does this editor means? I'll give you an example of an editor. For example, let us say MS Word, right? If I click on this, this is the Word app you can see on my laptop. So this is a Microsoft Word. So this is an editor, right? Or maybe let me just open some editor, some example. Uh, let me just show an example and I'll try to explain what this editor means. So the editor, you can see I have opened an MS Word. So this is also an example of an editor. So if I write here something, so editor will come with some functionality. If I write here, maybe, so there are various functionalities. You can see here, this is, it is showing some red font, which means that it is indicating that there is a spelling mistake. So this MS Word editor has various functionalities associated with it. Some spell checker is there. It can check some grammar. It can do some spelling mistake that you do. So these are the advantages that you get with MS Word. But let us say if I open another editor called Notepad. How do I open Notepad? I mean, I have to go to the start button and I have to type here NOTEPAD. When I click on Notepad, it is going to open a notepad for me. And if you type here Notepad, if I type here, this Notepad does not have any such functionality of spelling check or grammar check. It cannot do any checking for me. So there is a difference between a Notepad and MS Word. Both are examples of editors. So similarly, to write a Java program, also we have some predefined and some ready-made tools are there, some editors are there, which we will be seeing in future videos. Some of the examples are IntelliJ. So using this editor, we'll get some, I would say, additional benefits which you're going to use. So, but that's all I wanted to cover. So I'll quickly summarize what we did as a part of this video. I showed you from the scratch, how do I verify whether my laptop has Java installed or not. So I open a command prompt and on that I type Java space minus version, right? So it will say that if Java is installed, it is going to show you the version of Java installed. Otherwise, it is going to show you the error that Java is not recognized as an internal or external command. Then we went to Google, we clicked on download JDK and we got the link and then we registered on the Oracle site and then we downloaded the exe. And then from that, we installed Java and then we installed JDK first and then we installed JRE. I'll quickly complete that, I would say the location which I showed you here. I'll go to C part, C, and it was program files and program files Java. And then you can see here, it created JDK folder and JRE folder. When I click on JRE folder, again, you're going to see this bin folder. Inside bin, we are going to see various files, which are, I would say, DLL files, which is basically, which I want to explain right now. So in this case, I'll quickly show you one more file here, which should be just java.exe. Yeah, as you can see here. Okay, I would like to highlight one thing. So this is now the path is, it is now we are looking at the content of JRE. Let me just quickly. So this is now C program files Java JRE. Now we are looking at the content of JRE. So JRE is basically used to run the application. So whenever you're trying to run the application, do you need to compile the application? The answer is no. Who does the compilation? The answer is the developer does the compilation. So where exactly the Java C should be present? Java C should be present in the JDK folder. So JRE will have only java.exe. As you can see here, we don't see any Java C. So in JDK folder, we had both the files java.exe and java c.exe. Java C is basically the compiler which compiles the high level language to low level language. and java.exe is used to run the program. So your JRE folder is not going to have the Java C folder. This is what I wanted to highlight here. So as you can see here, the content here is, we are looking at the content of JRE, right? So this is C program files Java JRE bin folder, right? So we installed JDK, we installed JRE. I also showed you the concept of environment variables. Now, do you need to understand basically each and every bit in the environment variables? The answer is no. But it's always good to know whenever we install a software, then what happens behind the scenes. So as I told you that when we click on this env, you can click on edit the environment variables. It opens this window and then it makes basically an entry into this window, right? So you can see there are various, I would say, OS, as you can see here, OS is, it is showing that Windows NT is the OS, and there are various other key entries. You don't have to understand each and everything, but this was just for your information that this path is the important. When I click on this edit, and you can see there are various, all the softwares, whatever is installed, it actually makes an entry in this variable. In future, we will be seeing how to basically manually, if you want to add some entry into this window, that also we can do. But this is what I wanted to cover as a part of, I would say, this video. Thank you all.